Spooky Tuesday.
A strike, wrap around you, hold you tighter than your true love, and you get the privilege of hearing your bones break before the power of the embrace causes your veins to explode.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Haidt.
And I'm Chelsea Duff. Did I just say my name really weird? Maybe.
You did.
Move on.
I thought it was fine.
Move forward.
We're starting out strong, just how we ended the last episode really strong too. We're just a little nervous because this week we are talking about a movie that is critically acclaimed. That's not true.
It was acclaimed by a film critic, Monica Haidt, who raved about it in our group chat.
Professional
It's
film
true.
critic. Monica Haidt.
Critically, I am acclaiming that I love this movie. I'm gonna say that right now. And as someone who describes their podcast as a film review podcast, I'm technically a critic. We're all critics. It's not crazy.
Wow, put us in
Too much
Rotten
power.
I'm a hella critical, so that makes sense.
It's true. It's true.
Incredible.
I'm too nice, but here we are. This movie is a gem. If you haven't seen it, change that now. We're talking about 1997's Anaconda. Oh man. And this movie, wow.
This movie deserves awards.
It does.
It
got a
got
lot
some?
of them. They're all
Ooh.
Razzies, but
Yeah.
No, I want good awards. I
Actually,
want good awards.
Just it didn't win any Razzies is the thing.
No.
It didn't even win. It got nominated for like 6 ones, but it did win a bunch of awards in a different bad movie one that's called like the Bad Movie Awards or something like that.
How original.
Yeah, it's the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, which is a great
Stinkers.
award
Oh,
name.
I love it so much. I really, really adore it. And I mean, the movie is bad. It is, but is it also great? Yes.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, here, before I get too excited, because I'm gonna be jazzed this entire episode, let me just read to you the IMDb. I have two ways to intro this movie, actually. I'm going to read two passages. First is the IMDb description. So it says, a National Geographic film crew is taken hostage by an insane hunter who forces them along on his quest to capture the world's largest and deadliest snake. It doesn't have the hiss. I just added that in. A little snake in there. And I dressed up in all snake attire for this event. I have a one-armed
gorgeous
snake shirt that I bought during the pandemic when I broke my collarbone, so I could wear my sling. And that's probably the first one that I bought was snake print. It's so ugly. And I'm also wearing a high snake boots that I bought with Sydney at the opening of a super Target in Hollywood. So
it's almost like you've got an anaconda on each foot and then another swallowing up your torso, but it's just not done choking it down.
Oh yeah, 100%. These shoes look very similar quality to the quality of snake that we got in this movie.
You could be the starring actress.
Very upsetting that you don't have a snakeskin mini skirt, so that way we can make a reference about Anaconda wanting none unless you got buns, hun.
I'm so sorry. If it helps, I am wearing an incredibly heinous snake belt. That's two snakes that tie together. And yes, it is from 11th grade. And I still have it. So I brought out all the stops. But this movie also brings out all the stops because it starts out, we're just going to start at the beginning, a very good place to start. It starts out with an absolutely incredible quote to lead you on your journey. It's really beautiful. It's also none of it is true. Here's the quote that comes across the screen when the movie first begins. Tales of monstrous man-eating anacondas have been recounted for centuries by tribespeople of the Amazon basin. some of whom are said to worship these giant snakes. Anacondas are among the most ferocious and enormous creatures on Earth, growing, in certain cases, as long as 40 feet. Unique among snakes, they are not satisfied after eating a victim. They will regurgitate their prey in order to kill and eat again.
Dun dun dun.
Really sets the scene. Really
It
sets
really
the scene.
does. I read this article and it was like, it's not clear to me that anything in any of those 3 sentences is correct, including the capital B in basin, but that's hardly the point. It's just filled with lies from the beginning. But it also lets you know that at some point the snake is going to regurgitate someone. And
Yeah,
that's
it
an exciting
really-
thing to know.
Prepares you to be like, if you see this snake eat somebody, don't you dare think that it is satiated.
It's
Don't
not
you
over
dare
till
think
it's
that's
over.
enough. Exactly. And actually, the way that it does regurgitate at one point, there's one point where it's been lured with a monkey, a dead monkey, and it eats the monkey, and then it like spits it back out at Owen Wilson. And I thought, wow, that's cinema.
That is cinema. There's so many beautiful cinematic things about this movie. I don't want to get too far ahead, but a term that I'm going to define now, right at the beginning. They use this incredible cinematic trope throughout the film. It's very highbrow. It's very fancy. I'm surprised it didn't get nom for best cinematography for this. And that's something that in the industry they called snake-o-vision. It is when you know, as the viewer sort of become the anaconda. And it is indicated in the film when the camera just turns slightly sideways. It's just slightly askew.
There's like 1 or 2 moments where it's kind of wobbly, you know, to
Wobbly,
really
and
show
it's
the
like,
snake's
you're in
movement.
snake-o-vision.
That's
It's
so
really-
funny.
It works really well, honestly.
Did you make that term up, or did they really use that on production of this movie?
I just immediately, as soon as it turned to snake-o-vision in my notes, I was like, we're in snake-o-vision. So I have no idea if that was a
Something
thing.
larger than you bequeaths that knowledge to you, I assume.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe it's
It's
just like
divinely
as
given.
a film critic, like this knowledge just sort of like comes to me.
Is it that the knowledge came to you as a film critic, or actually is it that as a film critic you get to make these terms because you're the
Wow,
expert?
yeah. That's it.
You're the
That's it.
authority.
That's
Snake
it right there.
expert, Monica Height.
Oh,
I've
God.
always said, ever since I saw that belt in the 11th grade.
Yeah, no, it's true. I've always been an expert on snakes. I know now. I couldn't tell you anything about snakes. I couldn't tell you except for like some things I have in my notes that are like, you know, that thing they did with the snake, wrong. You know, that other thing they did with the snake, not true. So pretty much
You're the expert. I mean,
Yeah.
you're proving it right now.
I've read 4 articles and now I'm an expert on snakes.
Wow.
Anyway, okay, let's talk about the cast because that's probably the only reason this movie did so well.
Okay, I just want to say that this is now our second Owen Wilson movie that we've done.
Oh,
Which is incredible because I don't really think of him ever in context of horror movies, but he sure was out here doing the damn thing.
is he
was.
a little scream king?
A little bit.
Little baby, oh,
A little baby?
king.
A little baby late 90s scream king. I mean,
had
when
his
did The Haunting
moment.
come out? 99. So
99.
2 years after this, like they were like, wow, we loved him in Anaconda as a bumbling idiot. Let's cast him as a bumbling idiot in a horror film again.
They were like, he sure knows how to act alongside exclusively CGI. Put him in The Haunting.
Oh, yeah. It's not exclusively CGI, baby. There's a fucking animatronic snake in this movie too, 1 or 2, and it is okay. Let me look this up. I have it in my notes. It was so wonderful that the 40-foot animatronic model of the Queen Anaconda can now be seen in San Francisco at the
Mhm.
California Academy of Sciences, where it is displayed in the Amazon rainforest room. And the model has its skin and tail removed, displaying the snake's endoskeleton and complex circuitry of the animatronic wiring. Was it anatomically correct on the inside? I don't understand why, because isn't this a sign.
I think they're just being like, look at this lovely feat of
Maybe
engineering.
it's maybe it's robot science. It's not, because it said that it's
not
in the
anatomically
Amazon,
correct
Amazon
biological
rainforest
displays.
aquarium and snake pit attraction. So I was like, is this like a biology exhibit or is this a robot exhibit? Like, I need more.
They're like, and here's the anaconda's cloaca, which is I think the right term for snake vagina, right?
Oh,
Does
I
anybody know?
have no idea.
I trust you. As a
Is that
snake
right?
expert, it's uncouth for me to
Snake?
say.
Cloaca.
Cloaca is a word
yeah,
that I
it is.
really
Wait.
like.
It expels urine, feces, and carries out reproduction.
Ooh.
I love to know
Oh.
facts.
I love you telling me facts. When you said cloaca, referring to the snake, I thought maybe it might be that weird hole that was in the back of the snake's mouth when it opened its mouth. Did you see that? What was that?
The version of the thrussie for the snake.
Okay. Okay.
Monica has left the chat. Valentussi, Thrussie, we're really doing it.
Lead into it, baby. This is our brand now. We should do a pussy segment.
Right.
Crying. I'm deeply upset. Here's something that's also upsetting that I found out. There are a lot of people who were almost gonna be in this movie.
Yeah.
And then they weren't in the movie. Wait, did I type this in wrong? Who's Danny? Is that Owen Wilson? No.
That's
wait.
Ice Cube.
No, that's Cube.
I think I read this article wrong. So I wrote down in my article that they almost cast Ray Romano as Danny. No, I must have written the wrong character
I
name.
didn't see that on IMDb trivia, but that doesn't mean it's not true.
I'm looking it up. I have to fact check this.
Don't spread misinformation
so
on the internet. Except we do have our whole thing. If it's on the internet, then it must be true. And if you put it there, I mean, like, why not?
For the role of Danny Rich, everyone from Bill Murray, Will Smith, and Ving Rhames, Albert Brooks, Keith David were envisioned. Oh no, it's for Dr. Kale. It's for Dr. Kale. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Is Dr. Kale the redhead guy?
Yeah, he's the sexy sociologist, J-Lo's boyfriend.
What if it had been Ray Romano?
I don't know what I would have done.
What also if it had been Billy Crystal? That I would have been okay. I'm like, Harry Met Sally, when did that come out?
80s?
That might not have been as good.
But you had
Dennis
to see
Quaid,
who was almost J-Lo though. Why did I just say her
Oh,
name?
no.
So weird for that
J-Lo,
one, too?
though.
I'm having
J-Lo,
a
though.
problem today.
okay. The fact that they offered J-Lo those role,
Why did I've cursed this podcast episode.
the fact that they offered the role to Gillian Anderson and she turned it down is the most upsetting thing ever to me. One, because the girl who actually played the production manager, cutie little short redhead, Denise. Yeah. I looked at her and I was like, she looks like a gayer version of Scully. That's the first thought that I had. And then apparently Gillian Anderson went out for that role, but did she not get it? What? I don't understand. They're like, she turned down being Terry and she auditioned for Denise. And I'm like, why didn't you give it to her? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I didn't see that she turned down being Terry so much as she was like up for the role. And so is Juliana Margulies from The Good Wife, which would have been a whole different movie. Gillian Anderson could have done this movie exactly as is, although J-Lo killed it. But Juliana Margulies would have been something else. But yeah, I don't know if it's like they picked J-Lo from The Good Wife.
I haven't seen that.
She was
She's
also
the
on
wife.
ER too.
I haven't seen that either.
Monica,
I'm sorry.
that was incredible. Just know
You
that.
should be
Monica,
really
it's a
glad that Chance
disappointment.
isn't still here because he's also a Good Wife stan.
I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
learned.
You're forgiven. But
Can we just talk about how I said on the record that they almost cast Ray Romano as Ice Cube's character? Like,
can you imagine him at the end being like, bitch?
Whew. Okay. I'm emotional after that one. I also just want to say that I love Ice Cube so much, and he made this movie for me. Like I loved him. He was the standout. There are a lot of standouts. I think everyone was pretty much a standout, except for the guy who played Dr. Kale. He didn't really do that much for me. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. He's very pretty, but just nothing was going on. But like this cast, just like they had Jon Voigt in this movie. Like Jon Voigt, like he's won an Oscar.
And his incredible accent that changes like in every scene. And
that was one of the Razzies they got nominated for. I mean, speaking of cast, when it came to the Razzies, Jon Voigt got nominated for Worst Actor. Jon Voigt and the Snake got nominated for Worst Screen Couple. The Snake got nominated for Worst New Star.
That is the best thing I have ever heard in my life. Jon Voigt is in love with the snake. Like he is.
Yeah. The sexual tension between Jon Voigt and the snake.
It's palpable. You could cut it with a knife. It's actually a love story with a tragic ending. He's just working his way back to his baby, and he's doing whatever he can to get there. You know, if you look at it that way, it's a different movie.
But he says this snake holds you closer than your true love. And the tragedy is that his true love could never hold him without tragedy.
I know. It's just terrible. But I would say that I disagree when they say it was a terrible performance, because I feel like he just went full moon crazy on him. He just went in. He just was like, this is who I am now. A man without boundaries, a man with trauma. He was a pastor and he's left that life behind.
If
and
we believe him,
are his mistress. I know. He's just like, there's that part, the part that really stood out to me. And this is going to be hard to verbally describe, but there's this moment when he's just leering at J-Lo, and he's got his head like leaned back and his chin forward, and he's like biting his lip kind of, and he's looking at her from the bottom of his eyes, and he's just like, that's like the sound it feels like he's making. It is that's the scariest part of the movie. I've never seen anything creepier in my life, and I've seen a lot of shit.
He does leer a lot. He is very terrifying in this movie. And he did win Worst Supporting Actor at the Stinker's Bad Movie Awards. And he also won Most Annoying Fake Accent. But it was a dual nomination for this movie and another movie that he was in. So he's just doing weird accents left and right back in 1997, I guess.
And okay, the thing that was the most shocking to me about this movie is like this was under my radar. What was I? 4? I was 4 when this came out. Age revealed. I was 4 when this movie came out. I was freshly 4. It came out April 11th. But it had a budget of $45 million, which is like a lot of money. I mean, you can't make snakes like that for chump change.
Well, the CGI for this snake, I know you just said that they used a model, and they
used both.
That. Yeah, but the snake CGI apparently cost $100,000 per second.
Yeah.
Per second that it was on screen, $100,000.
And they used it all for the Jon Voigt is right when he says that the snake holds you like a lover, because when he kills you, she kills you. Excuse me. There's 2. One is the queen, so I would assume that she's a she. The other one
is a warrior.
The warrior.
That's what IMDb trivia says. Yeah.
Wow.
You killed the warrior.
Wow. There's so much snake lore that they barely brush the surface of. You need to watch.
They didn't even realize that there were 2 in the movie. I thought the whole point was that there was just one. And then
that one got shot in the head like 50 times.
Yeah, but like it's big. I don't know.
Its eyeball comes out, I think.
I watched it so early in the morning. Maybe I missed that bit.
The queen one is blue. That's how you can tell the difference.
They're different colors. Oh my god.
The queen one is blue.
The attention to detail not there today.
But the CGI they used to do that beautiful swirly that both snakes use each time, and it is like a beautiful lover's dance, you know, like it's like they're spinning you on the dance floor. That's what that feels like to me. And that was worth probably the entire $1 million for each swirly. And also there's a part at the end where the queen snake like gracefully descends from the sky, appearing to defy gravity and not be holding on to anything at all. And it's definitely CGI then, and that was beautiful too. Didn't make a goddamn lick of sense, but that's okay.
It didn't need
great,
to, baby.
and it cost millions.
Millions.
But yeah, it cost 45 million. You're like, oh shit, they're not going to make that back. Opening weekend in America, it made 16.6 million, and a total of $136 million internationally.
It made a lot of money.
A shit ton of money. This was like a #1 box office movie. Like, I had never heard of this in my life until it went viral on Twitter or whatever the fuck in the like 2 years ago now.
Really?
Monica,
never
there's
heard of it in my
5
life.
sequels, and one of them is like a Lake Placid crossover.
Oh my God, incredible.
God,
I have
there's
seen
so
the
much
Hunt for the
to
Blood
explore.
Orchid, which is Anaconda's Hunt for the Blood Orchid, or Anaconda 2 Hunt for the Blood Orchid.
Wow,
But
well, I would need to watch that.
We watched Anaconda with our spooky crew at some point last year. And then I mentioned it to one of my friends from college, and he was like, you have to watch. He like would not shut up about Hunt for the Blood Orchid until we finally watched it. You know, I sure couldn't tell you.
So that means Ice Cube's not in it. I'm not interested.
No, there's absolutely no returning cast.
Damn, they couldn't get Ice Cube
like,
again.
A whole paralytic agent cast. There was somebody that I remember, but it clearly is not important. But you said you were 4. I was 4 also, but I like vividly remember trailers or something for this movie. Because I was making Anaconda jokes for years just based on having like been aware of this film in media. It made an impression on me when I was little.
I was untouched by the snake.
I'm older than y'all, so
You were 6. Okay, calm down.
But I didn't watch this until I think I was like 8 or 9, and it was like a Blockbuster rental.
Blockbuster rental throwback.
Like I vividly remember like going, and we had a sleepover, and like my dad rented it for us because we couldn't rent it, so Mark rented it for us.
Oh my God, is it PG-13?
I don't know, what is the rating on this?
It's PG-13.
Yeah, and so
wow, it does have cursing.
So Mark rented it
was supposed
for language movie in
and some sexual scenarios, I bet, because they did their whole making out on the shore part.
Wait, did you guys read this in there was some article, wasn't the trivia? I didn't read the trivia this time, but apparently, like if you look at fucking Ice Cube's mouth, like this movie was gonna have an R rating because like Ice Cube's character like said fuck all the time, as he is wont to do, as he should do. There's a fucking huge fucking snake. Like there's this point in the movie where like the snake like flaps on the boat, or all those snakes fall onto the boat after the explosion. And I was like, this would be the perfect opportunity to say a line similar to Snakes on the Plane. Like there's too many motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking boat. Like it doesn't ring as well, but like there's expletives should be used. But they fucking dubbed Ice Cube. They fucking did dubs. Yeah. And when he said like fuck and stuff, they changed it to like freaking or whatever. So if you like apparently really watch it really hard, which I did not, you will see that his mouth does not match up with much of his words.
Incredible.
So yeah, did that to knock it back down to a PG-13 movie. But that's beautiful. Did you have a slumber party and you watched this movie?
We did. And this movie, like, I remember like the fun jump scares of the snake. And when we watched this with our spooky crew last year, I made my dad watch it with me again, and the jump scares still got him, but Mark is a little bitch when it comes to any kind of jump scare, and he's like, oh, why do I do this? It's very funny for me personally, who also is a little bitch for jump scares.
Me too. I love a good jump scare.
I love a good jump scare.
I love
Yeah.
all jump scares because they get
Yeah.
me every time. They get me. I am a little bitch for a jump scare.
Oh, I'm very jumpy just in general. Just like walking around my office, I'm fucking freaking out. If anyone just like moves in the corner of my eye, I'm like on the
Me, always.
well, what was I gonna say? Okay, it just has to be said. We talked about the cast, but we left someone out. Danny Trejo,
Oh, yeah.
Classic. Incredible.
incredible cameo, incredible
Machete.
opener. He's
Has anybody
fucking
ever
ripped,
actually seen
and I'm into
Machete?
him. I've
No,
never
but I've seen
Machete.
Spy Kids.
I've seen Spy Kids, but everybody's like, oh, yes, Machete. And I'm like, I've never seen Machete.
I
Wasn't
would
his
love
name
to see
also
it.
Uncle Machete in Spy Kids?
Is it?
There is a reference to
Isn't
that
it?
in
Yeah.
Spy Kids. There
yeah,
is.
and then it was like somebody after the fact was like, same universe. And this is also a moment to mention that what's his face who played Cyrus Criticus in 13 Ghosts was maybe gonna be, or they wanted him to be, the Jon Voigt character in this movie, actually.
Oh, that's so funny.
Mhm.
That would have worked,
Ah.
but I would do anything
It would have been very different.
for Jon Voight.
Yeah, and I like Jon Voight, not generally, but being insane on film when it has to do with poisonous substances. Like this movie unholds like perfect performances. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Also, like just a little shout out to Jonathan Hyde who played Westridge. Absolutely fucking hilarious.
Killed it.
The whole fucking time. The fact that he's brought a suitcase just full of wine and champagne and is
Oh,
playing
so
golf on the
funny.
deck, like yes.
Okay, this is really random, but I just Googled Machete and it literally
Mhm.
just says, based on the character from the Spy Kids franchise.
Exactly. This is also my moment to apologize and call both of you out because I didn't realize at the time when we did 13 Ghosts that Elsbeth last name was Miss Honey from Matilda, and nobody else mentioned it. And then at one point, because I called her like a ripoff Ingrid Cortez, and then I felt bad when I realized she was Miss Honey. And I texted you guys and I was like, that was Miss Honey, and you guys both ignored me.
Yeah, because I had no fucking clue what you're talking about, and I still don't remember who Miss Honey is now.
Oh my god, she's a
I
gay
know who
icon.
Miss Honey is, but I do not remember these text messages.
She's a gay icon.
She
She's not
is.
my
Sorry.
personal gay icon. But for a lot of people, Miss Honey was like the moment.
You know what? I will watch it. I have to do my gay history
Mhm.
research and I'll watch
Okay.
it. Okay,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'll apologize now. But let's talk about J-Lo. Speaking of being gay,
Mhm.
she's not, but I am for her. For a movie where they're not doing any nudity at all, like this was an incredibly sexy J-Lo performance. Regardless, she's
The
like all of her
moment-
shirts are see-through.
Yes.
all of her
This
shirts are
moment
see-through.
when she is sleeping and her tank top is sensually slipping off her shoulder, and then Jon Voight is leering at her and she like wakes up, looks at him, and then like slams the door. So hot.
So hot. The beginning, she's wearing a white tank top. It's completely freaking see-through. The entire thing is see-through.
Very 90s vibes.
Very
with the,
90s
with
vibes.
The visible nipples, the see-through tanks.
Oh, yeah.
And her hair is so good like this. I love it.
Mhm.
She looks great. I mean, this is like peak. I mean, it's not peak. This bitch. She'll never not be peaking, it seems. Goddamn J-Lo.
But-
Yeah,
The
I mean,
nine-
I just watched Marry Me and it was actually so good. I loved it.
That's what
Oh
I've
man, I want to
heard.
watch it so bad. Yeah,
I like heard it was
really
actually really
enjoyed
good.
it.
I watched
It
the
had a
trailer.
lot of
I was like, this looks terrible, and I want to watch Owen Wilson and J-Lo kiss. Like, I need to see that happen.
There
I
was
love
no
all rom-coms.
chemistry in the beginning, but they really built it up in a way that I felt worked. And I watched I Want You Back this same night because I ended up having a rom-com night, and that one is actually
Ooh.
going to be relevant for our next episode. But I didn't
Ooh.
think that one had the chemistry that Marry Me had, and I was very surprised that I liked Marry Me more than I Want You
How's
Back.
Okay.
Maluma? How's
He's
Maluma?
hot. He's very
he
hot.
hot?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
okay,
sings.
cool.
He's great.
Hot, sexy, fire.
Ooh, okay,
Mhm.
good. All right, I'm gonna
It's
watch it.
just a general recommendation. Yeah.
Immediately following up Anaconda with the other film starring Owen
The
Wilson
back-to-back
and J-Lo, Marry Me.
J-Lo Owen Wilson project.
It's the only way to be. I had other things to say. What are some of the other things? I mean, oh, something that I read also, you know how Dr. Kale is like, the only thing I'm scared about going in the water is this thing that's a word that starts with C, and it's a little fish that goes up your dick, and it goes in there and it puts spines there in your dick, and you gotta cut your dick open to get it out. That's fake. It's not real.
They're not
Apparently.
real.
I know. I was
Well,
prepared to
there's
believe
some
it.
kind of fish that does that though.
Well, whatever
like,
it's called, the kafluti or whatever.
Kandiru, I think maybe is the pronunciation.
It's an urban legend, apparently.
Well, apparently it has been documented to have happened one time and was apparently corroborated by Jeremy Wade in the movie River Monsters, Amazon Flesh Eaters, which,
Oh my God,
what a title.
I'm so sexually attracted to Jeremy Wade.
I don't know.
Don't
who
ask
that
me questions.
is.
He's the River Monsters guy.
That's what I'm
Kandiru,
gleaning
yeah.
from River Monsters, Amazon Flesh Eaters, but I don't have any information beyond that. I'll Google later.
He's
but
very
apparently,
nice looking, but he's also something that like would be on in the background a lot in college when I would hook up. So I think maybe it's just like a
sense memory association. Okay. Yeah, but apparently it happened one time while a guy was like peeing into the Amazon. So he had his urethra
Oh my gosh, so
fully
just like snakes on a plane.
exposed, and he had like a stream for this little catfish to swim up. But this is not like a regular behavior. Yeah, it's a tiny little catfish. That's what they said.
Oh my God.
Attention.
Oh my God. Wait, just something that's really funny to me is that in my article I read where it says that it's an urban myth that the Kandiru can do this, it was linked to a BBC Earth article, and I went to click on it, and the article doesn't exist anymore, but it was like, can the Kandiru eat human penises? And that was like what the quote, that's what the URL was.
Incredible clickbait.
Too bad that article no longer exists. Oh,
that is important search engine optimization.
No.
For people who watched Anaconda and immediately went to Google. Can it eat penises? Like, people were worried, bro.
People were
That would be
stressed.
horrifying. But like, it's they psych you out. They're like, oh damn, he's gonna get a penis fish. No, fucking Jon Voigt puts a poisonous wasp in his air tank. That is so niche. What a niche way to fuck with someone. To take control of a ship is to put a wasp in his mouth.
But
Pretty
like,
iconic,
also,
actually.
Pretty
What-
iconic.
I feel like he would have noticed that the wasp was there sooner. You
It
know,
was fucking huge. It was
Right?
like 2 inches.
it was a
You would think once it starts to crawl in your mouth, you'd be like, pet, and spit it out. Because
Oh,
it
God.
wasn't an air
Ugh.
tank. It was just like a snorkel, wasn't it?
I thought he had like well, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I am not
Hey.
sure, but either way, it's wrong and it's bad. And I don't like bugs in
Remember
mouths.
when we were in a part of that pandemic where we all thought like killer wasps were coming. Remember that?
They're
Briefly?
here.
Remember that
I
chapter
Murder
of the
hornets.
pan-
Murder
murder
hornets.
one. There we
Remember
go.
that chapter of the pandemic?
It was one of those things
Remember-
where it's like one sighting, just like the Candira fish, like one sighting in Seattle or whatever, and it was like high alert, everybody. Google
I
if
don't
the
know.
wasps can eat your penis.
I don't know, man. On Monday, I was watching the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the very first time. And it could have been a murder hornet that was flying around my house that made me almost shit my pants. It was probably a sewer cockroach, which is so horrifying, but I was in the middle of
Ew.
watching the 2003 TCM is so fucked up. And I was scared pantsless, and then all of a sudden this bug is like dive bombing into every wall in the room and like slamming into everything and bouncing off of everything, and I like just ran away, left the movie playing, just left the room. So it could have been a murder hornet is all I'm trying
Monica
to
was
say.
like, "This is not how I die."
I was like this then it disappeared, and then it fucking disappeared. I still don't know where it is. If I die tonight, that's why. Anyway, we're talking about Anaconda. I'm still upset.
But
I'm
I love that they did a tracheotomy in Anaconda. You know, like
Mhm,
yeah, no,
mhm.
yeah.
classic.
Important. This
Oh,
movie,
cool.
the Emma Roberts, Nancy Drew, what else? Just two unparalleled films that are clear references to each other, I think.
Exactly.
I mean, and how does he not get a fucking infection? He just finds any old
They
straw.
like pour alcohol on it, I think, right?
Sure,
Yeah.
that'll work. That'll work.
Yeah. Oh,
If
man.
Nancy Drew can figure it out, Jon Voight's right there with her. Two peas in a
checks
pod,
out to
those
me.
two. Yeah.
That checks out to me.
Jon Voight just knows. That was part of the plan. It was all part of his design. He's like, I don't want to kill anyone. I just want to give them an on-boat tracheotomy.
Okay,
Just to
Jon
show
Voight's
off.
little sidekick, Mateo.
Mateo.
Oh, God.
Was
Messy.
he in on it? Like,
For
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
I know, but like this was like the whole plan. Mateo was like, yo, I got these people on a boat coming and we'll get them and you can commandeer our boat so fast.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. He just happened to get swiped into the lover's embrace first because, he was too slow. Should never be last in line.
Never.
When there's snakes, bears, wild boars, any of that involved.
Honestly,
Also-
yeah. I mean, why would you ever align yourself with Jon Voight in this movie? That just feels like asking for trouble. I guess there's like allegedly
Scary.
the promise of $1 million, you know what I mean, on the line. And I'm sure that could be very compelling. Yeah, because Gary does it too. But
Fucking Owen Wilson.
Gary sucks.
Gary's so fucking dumb, but he does have that iconic line that as an Aries, I felt very strongly where he's like, is it just me or does the jungle make you really, really horny? Just straight to the point. Also, I guess
We'll
they
let
must have
Adam know
all,
that.
yeah, no. It's what, there's just something about the jungle. There's just something about, no,
Adam,
I mean,
know
I've
where
not
you
never
should
been
take
to the
Monica
jungle.
the next time.
But did the girl and what's her name? I'm sorry, I'm gonna
Denise?
stop calling her the girl. Denise and Gary, were they like a thing before
I think
this
so, yeah.
trip?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they
'cause
were
it-
a couple.
At first it just seemed kind of flirty, and then all of a sudden she was calling him honey, and I was like, okay, well, that's not what you do on
Where
day
did
2.
this come from?
That's a little like 4
They
months.
did one
that's a
make
little-
out in the forest, and she's like, "We're official now. Will you
And
be
we're
my
married.
boyfriend?" Yeah.
Honey, will you marry me?
It went full 7th grade. You kissed me, that makes you my boyfriend. Don't
they
look
were
at other
almost-
girls.
I think that what really would have done it, and it made me not bat an eye that much, was that they were almost gored by a boar, which is fun to say. And that, that kind of trauma can really bond
Yeah,
people.
totally. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to Gary, it's like I was almost on his side to a degree. You know what I mean? Like he was making some points, being like, "Look, we lost our documentary. It's not happening. We can salvage this while we're here." I mean, the hole in that plan is like, okay, it's one thing to be in the Amazon with an anaconda, and it's another to actively be luring an anaconda to your location. Like that feels
Yeah.
like just maybe a mistake. But I didn't think he was a bad person until Ice Cube got in some dispute with Jon Voight, and Jon Voight shot at him, and Gary didn't blink an eye. And I was like, okay, now he's dead. Now he's dead
No.
to me.
Totally. But the
Dead
other
to
thing is
me.
that, like, I know it's so easy to forget that Dr. Kale exists, but he did just get bitten by a poisonous wasp in his mouth. And he did just receive a tracheotomy. So maybe we like hightail it to the hospital instead of like going on a little pleasure cruise to slay a giant fucking anaconda. Capture a giant fucking anaconda. Like, I don't know. Maybe
Somebody
we
on
want
IMDb trivia was
Dr.
like,
Kale to live.
maybe.
Maybe we want
Maybe.
him to not die.
What a
Somebody
horrible
on-
name, Dr. Kale.
I know, and it's with a C.
Hate
It's
it.
not even after the lettuce. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Somebody on IMDb trivia was really criticizing the plan to not take one of the babies. from the snakes and use those to just like grow them into a big anaconda one day. Much more manageable. I mean, at some point now it's like you've got a 15-foot long snake in your house. That's not manageable. But like, how are you going to capture that whole ass big ass snake anyway? That's what.
But how are you going to
You have
bring
no
that back?
equipment.
How are they gonna contain it?
They're like, we're gonna hook it so it eats one monkey on a fishing hook and just hope that we can reel it in, and that's that. That's a bad plan.
That's a really bad plan. I did not realize those were baby anacondas also. I thought Jon Voigt was just being weird, saying "go back to your mother," but he was being literal. Anyway, I learned something today. Continue.
And I know it's the movies, but like IRL, like don't snakes only eat like one thing and it takes them so long to digest it then you're not hungry for like a really long time?
I've heard that. As a snake
But
expert,
this snake
yes.
does vomiting, so
Yeah, but so then it eats twice, so it shouldn't be that aggressive, like that aggro, you know, like.
But it lives to kill,
It's been
Sydney.
scorned. This snake has been scorned. Here's my as a snake expert, the biggest problem that I have with this movie is similar to what Jaws has done to sharks. Snakes are kind friends. They're not killer machines. I don't know if that's true, but I just want to make the parallel.
My problem with that is that like sharks live in the ocean, bro, and I can choose not to go in the ocean, but like snakes are on land with me, and that's where we get in sticky situations.
Not anaconda size, but my mom had a cottonmouth, which is a water, like a really poisonous water snake. Like my mom had beef with one because it lived under the step at her lake house. And she was like walking down the dock and this snake like came and like ran after her. She like fell, got real bruised, like got up and like ran away and then came back down with her gun. Like, it like went into the water and she like
That's
shot
very
at
southern.
it and killed it. She did. My mom shot
Oh my
a
god,
snake
she
with a
got
gun.
it.
She did.
She's
Helen's
Jon
boss.
Voigt.
Oh
Did
yeah.
you know that this movie was based
on your-
off of that
yeah.
story?
Here's the thing. My mom saw Anaconda and was like, you know what? If Jon Voigt can do it, so can I.
It inspired her. She inspired it.
It's a clear
There's
reference.
a time paradox in there, but it's fine.
It's all one. Maybe she was inspired by J-Lo when J-Lo literally like shot it in the head like 10 times to save Ice Cube's life, which like, thank God that Ice Cube didn't die because I love him so much. Like there is just no chemistry for me between J-Lo and Dr. Kale. I just don't care about him at all.
There was some chemistry.
Yeah, but like I read this article and it was like there's no character development at all for any of these characters. So that's why the movie is extra fun because they die and you're not that sad, but you're like, yeah, what's gonna happen next? You know, it's like, oh, Owen Wilson died. Moving on.
I do love that, you know, our two final baddies are a Black man and a Latino woman. Incredible.
I love that
Incredible for the
too.
time.
And I don't need
Gabriel is
everyone
technically
to
alive,
screw.
but he's
Nobody
bleeding from
cares
the neck pretty
about
bad.
him.
He's done
He's
nothing.
bleeding from the neck pretty bad at the end.
Okay, wait. Can we talk about that? He literally just like is in a coma. He wakes up. He fucking murders the fucking snake, saves the day, gets his trach reopened, and then he just becomes unconscious immediately again right afterwards.
But the way the blood spurts out of his neck at first, it is disgusting.
It is
It's
really
disgusting.
gross. And J-Lo's just like,
Sexy.
oh, he's asleep. Like, oh, he's unconscious again. I'm like, baby, like he might be dead. Like he's
Okay,
leaving
Maybe
a
that's
lot
sad
of
for
blood.
him.
Okay, but not to, you know, spoil the ending of this movie that came out, you know, over 20 years
Over
ago
a
now?
decade. It is
Over a
over a decade.
Yeah, it
Over
is
2
over a
decades
decade.
ago.
Thank you, Chelsea. At the end where they're like, oh look, it's the tribe that we wanted to see. They're like, we're gonna record this. Like, Dr.
Leave
Kale
him
is dead.
alone.
I'm sorry, Dr. Kale is dead now. Like, they're not getting him back to any hospital. They're gonna go spend days recording this tribe.
It just
This movie is
I
incredible.
completely forgot that the whole reason that they were trying to find this like hidden group of people, like leave the hidden group of people, let them live their
They don't want
lives.
to be seen. That's why they're hidden.
Oh God.
Okay, but also,
like,
were these the people that like worshipped the snake? And did you just kill their gods?
That's what Jon Voigt says, but do we think he's reliable? Because he says that whole thing, and then Dr. Kale says, no, that is this other tribe of people. And Jon Voigt goes, it's both. And I just don't know that we can like really trust him per se. I think he was trying to be like, let's go to the snakes. And I think it's possible that the Shirishama people are like, don't go to the snakes. And that's why we built this wall so that you don't go to the snakes. And these totems are warning you that these snakes are going to eat you. And that's why they have jaws around the head. But maybe it's open for interpretation. I don't know. And I certainly have not Googled anything to see if there's any real life basis for any of this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how could any of it be true if all of the snake lore is false? Like, it's just based on a feeling.
Well, and I do know historically, like snakes in multiple cultures are worshipped as like intelligent, like bringers of knowledge and stuff like that, in like hella cultures. So like worshiping snakes like does make sense, but who knows?
There are like sects of Christianity that do snake stuff.
I was watching a TikTok.
They brought us knowledge.
Well, I was watching a TikTok that like said in the Bible, like it's called like something of Adam, basically, that like the snake in the Garden of Eden was trying to bring them critical thinking.
Oh,
which like
love that.
I just know that I read the A.J. Jacobs book, The Year of Living Biblically, and he like tries to live according to the Old Testament and then the New Testament, like to the letter of the law. And he explores all these different churches, and some of them do like snake charming.
Oh, stuff. Those are big down here. Those are big. They have
South.
Those in Alabama. They are so freaky.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it. They'll talk in tongues and they'll use rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes, that's poisonous. I guess if it's your religion, though, I don't know enough about religion to comment, actually.
Oh yeah, they'll flat out handle some rattlesnakes. It is.
I think I will say not that religion, probably for now. Probably for now. Maybe, who knows? Maybe one day, but probably for now, I'll stay not that.
Do you remember this CSI episode where that like prostitute was like, my daddy was a snake charming preacher, and then she like murders somebody with snake venom, but she like injects them with needles and not actual real snakes? Do you not remember that, Chelsea?
Maybe I didn't make it that far in my rewatch.
Wow.
I don't know what season that is.
Poser, fake fan.
I fell off. Okay, what do you want me to do?
That reminds me of the episode of Criminal Minds where that lady gives people rabies.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, just something that I know about.
Okay. Anyways, Anaconda.
Anaconda. I think we should talk about all of the deaths though, because they're really good, some of them, and some of them not good. But the first one we see is Machete. I don't know that he has a name in this movie.
He does not.
Beyond me. But we see him like climbing up. Okay, wait, first, before we see him climbing up the mast, he's like in that boat, and it's probably one of the best shots in the whole movie, if you ask me. But it's like a mysterious unseen force is bonking up against the floorboards, and it's like launching the nails out of the wood into the air.
Hilarious.
It's incredible.
Like, that's how that works for sure.
For sure, that's how that works. And then he climbs the mast to try and get away from the snake, even though we've established that like it's not gonna do shit. He's just trying to get a reprieve for long enough to actually kill himself instead of getting eaten by the snake. And like maybe that's smart.
Yeah, he didn't want to. I mean, God, I mean, we don't really see the extent of like, you know, what Jon Voigt describes until the very, very, very end. But it really do squeeze your bones and then squeeze all your veins, make you explode on the inside. And so, you know, I feel like maybe he made the right choice if it was inevitable.
And
Rip
like we see
Danny
that a little
Trejo.
bit with Owen Wilson, but what we really see that was memorable is when the snake is like all very lumpy swimming away underwater afterwards, and you can see the full silhouette of Owen Wilson's body inside the snake with his mouth open.
That was the
Gross.
greatest thing I've ever seen. And it was so dumb and bad and horrible and the best and my favorite.
And it probably
just
cost
like-
$600,000 for that shot.
$600,000. Worth it. Worth
Do you think
it.
they
I
took
wouldn't.
a mold of Owen Wilson's body to properly render it for the CGI?
Yeah, they just got to make it like
guess.
as expensive as humanly
Yeah,
possible,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So yeah, they definitely did that. They live cast him, everything. We haven't said this, but you know, maybe it's just me thinking it, and that's fine. But I think Mateo is hot in a way that I'm scared of him.
Okay,
and it
I
was
think
sad to see him go.
Mateo is a butterface.
Ugh, I feel like his face is almost super hot, and then he just like went too pirate or something. I don't know. I was still down. I was like, he has an earring. That's it. That's all you need. An earring. It's got long hair and an earring. Done. And he knows his way around a boat. Oof. But he dies, and it's hilarious. Like, is his death the one where he gets just bit right on his fucking face?
Oh, maybe.
I think it
think
grabs
so.
him by the face and spins him, and I thought that was funny.
Oh,
So
he,
maybe
like,
the snake
falls-
thought the same thing.
He literally falls so ungracefully into the water, like out of nowhere and for no reason. So frankly, at that point, like that one's just on him. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, if you're gonna betray everybody and if you're gonna align yourself with Jon Voigt and you're gonna go to salvage things on this boat, and then you just trip and you're not paying attention when you already know that this boat was shipwrecked because of the Anaconda, like that one's on you.
I just saw something. Everyone, if you're listening, you should go to IMDb and look up this movie and slowly scroll through the top cast till you get to the end so you can have the reveal that I just had. That was like Carrie Wurr as Denise, Vincent as Mateo, Danny Trejo as Poacher, and finally Frank Welker as Anaconda voice. And it's just like a selfie of a jovial old gentleman, like, yeah, he was the Anaconda's voice. Because the Anaconda, I can't believe we haven't said this, the Anaconda has a voice. It doesn't talk, but it screams. It goes, like,
It sure does scream.
like several times, not just once for emphasis. Like he be angry, he be yelling. No, snakes can't yell. What if snakes could yell?
No, don't go
think
down that road.
I think I read somewhere that like cobras can grunt or something like that.
Oh, that's too much for me. As a snake lover, that's where I draw the line. It's just when I first heard that,
the
I was
screaming of the snakes.
wait.
The screaming
Also,
snakes.
there's a tagline. Okay, did you know the tagline for this movie? Is this the
What?
stupidest thing I've ever heard? When you can't breathe, you can't scream.
Okay,
That's
But
not
the snake can
relevant to the
scream.
film at all.
The snake can scream.
Oh, I guess because when it constricts you, they mean.
Yeah, you're like,
okay.
so you can't scream out for help. It's too late anyway. All your bones are broken.
Can we talk
Yeah.
about Jon Voight's death? Because
Wait.
We got-
Let's just get Westridge's out of the way and the other girl,
Okay,
and then
fair,
we'll
fair.
finale with Jon Voight's because it's the greatest thing of all time. That whole scene is the greatest thing of all time. I just want to say that I feel really bad for Denise because that fucking sucks. Like there's a snake involved, there's a giant anaconda, and you get killed between Jon Voight's legs. Like that is just not fair, and it sucked.
Yeah, and it took 2 seconds too. Like she really succumbed
1
so quickly. And then
Is
he
that
just, like,
how long it
rolls her into the
takes?
water. No, it takes a very long time.
That's what I thought. I was like, this is very fake. This, but literally like 10 seconds, it's gone. She was already holding her breath for a while just before, so maybe that's why. But yeah, poor girl. And then also, I really liked Westridge's death because he tried so hard, and got so far. And in the end, it really didn't even matter because he literally jumped off of a waterfall cliff, and the Anaconda was like, nope, and snatched him right up. It's beautiful. It was really beautiful.
And then they don't even explain how they got off the rocks after that point because they had crashed on the rocks.
They do.
And apparently, I mean, maybe, but apparently that shot as they're like showing the boat moving away is just because they literally reversed the previous shot and you can see the water going back up.
Yep. So funny. They do explain it.
Did they finish the winching maneuver?
No, what happened? It's so funny. And it's such an obvious, like, you don't understand what happened, but I'm going to say it real quick so no one asks any questions. Ice Cube he comes into the room with Dr. Kale and J-Lo, and he's like, oh yeah, the boat's unstuck because the tree fell on the boat. He literally says almost exactly that, and then he walks out of the room. It's no joke. That happens. It's
there were
incredible.
So many quotes where I was like, this is gonna be relevant later.
He just says it. He's like, in case we didn't show it, and we only have $45 million. We can't go back and show it. So I'm just gonna tell you that when the tree fell down, it's fixed everything. So we're good. Amazing.
That's true. Because I think like right after that is when they escape from Jon Voigt for just a moment and they get like a blow dart in him and push him in the water. But then the dart like floats to the surface and they go, damn, the dart came out his back. And it's just like, boy, I sure wonder if that will be plot relevant.
Oh, fuck. Right. I totally missed that. Oh, so that's how he's still alive. Okay. I'm learning.
Did he tie them together with a snakeskin at the end when he apprehends them and then puts them in the snake lair? Because that's what it looked like to me.
That would be, I hope that is true, because I was just so overwhelmed by every aspect of the final scene that I couldn't take it all in. Because it's beautiful. They're in like an ancient, like, I don't even know, mill. I don't know what that is already. So that's amazing. They're tied up. What does he do to incapacitate the two of them? What does Jon Voigt do to incapacitate J-Lo and Ice Cube?
I have literally no idea. Didn't make it.
I have no idea. I have fucking no clue. Somehow they become incapacitated. And they're tied up, and then he wakes them up by just what an iconic scene. It like is this low shot, and you see this weird furry thing, and something's dripping off of it, and you're like, ew. It's a dead monkey, and he's been bleeding dead monkeys for probably hours. So he can have a bucket of monkey blood. And Sydney, I thought of you that he dumps all over J-Lo and Ice Cube. Were you ecstatic?
Yes.
Apparently also, that blood was monkeys. The poor monkeys. But that blood was jelly and plum juice. So I bet it was delicious.
Yum, 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 yum. That's the alternate recipe from what Christian gave us on our Snowpiercer episode of how to make fake blood. But I mean, I can't even I don't even know what to say first about this final showdown because there's so many things that happen. It's like hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I think the throwing of the blood is an incredible moment, but also the moment where he's like holding up a bunch of dust and he's like, this is how it comes out of the snake, ashes to ashes. Like the human bone is literally reduced to dust. I don't know if that's true, and I don't care because it was incredible. Dust. Maybe it just like, it's like a little cloud.
Oh, yeah, because this, I guess, is the queen snake's house is where we're at. Her lair, an old mill. And, I remember how he incapacitates them.
How did he do it?
He, they're, looking at this drum of oil because they're trying to get more, gas or whatever for the boat. And then Jon Voigt comes up behind him, and he's like, hey! So they look back, and then he bops them both in the face with the back of a gun or something like that. that's how he incapacitates them. Anyway, it makes sense.
I do not remember that at all.
I remember it because I was like, this is so weird. And I feel like that's one of the parts where they dubbed over the audio for J-Lo and Ice Cube because they're just like murmuring, but the sound doesn't sound right. And I was like, this is so weird. And then they just get bopped right immediately. Not that important. There's so many more important things that happen in these following scenes. But there's nothing like a wild chase scene with a giant snake. Like, this is the part I was talking about where the snake like floats down from the high heavens attached to seemingly nothing. And that scene cost $40 million. That was $40 million.
That was the
of the
entire
$45
budget.
million. Oh man. But I mean, there's some really great antics with Ice Cube blowing up a beautiful
Smokestack?
tower smokestack
Chimney?
thing
Yeah.
by using a hose as like what is it, the lighting string what
Wick.
was the wick. Thank God. We gotta go back
We
to the
got
House
there.
of Wax
We got
episode,
there.
learn about candles. You know,
Oh
the
God, we
lighting
can't go
string.
back to the candle argument.
I tell everybody that I meet now how candles work.
I've forgotten.
Everybody always thinks they know. They don't.
They don't know.
They don't know, but we do.
Adam was so mad about that too. Never forget.
Yeah,
Well, he
remember when I
wasn't
post
exactly
that
right either.
video
He didn't explain very clearly.
Adam was
people,
wrong.
listeners, go back to what was it, February 2021, and find a video of Adam very angrily just describing how candles work. That's posted on Maine. Just him on
And
my
we're
couch
like,
being like, "This
"No."
is how candles work."
Adam's like, y'all are fucking idiots. Like, this
Our
is annoying.
content
really
has
got on
changed
FaceTime
over
with
the
him.
last year.
Yeah.
Well, because we would never allow him to explain something to us now.
No.
No,
We've got so much authority. We're film critics now.
We're
We are the
film
experts.
critics now.
We are professionals, okay?
But okay, I don't remember. There's so many things that happen, but one of the best one is when Jon Voigt tries to gets trapped in the rope like cage thing that Ice Cube pulls up, and he's like trying to get out, and then he just absolutely gets his shit wrecked by the snake, and he looks like he's into it, you know.
He's got a little
That's his wife.
asphyxiation
I
kink.
mean, yeah, we talked about that. That's the love interest that really is compelling in this movie. Like, sure, J-Lo is with Dr. Kale, and sure, Owen Wilson is with Denise, but like, it's about Jon Voigt and the Anaconda. They were the only couple nominated for any awards, and it was worst couple, but it still counts.
It was one of the best couples I've seen. He was in his lover's embrace. What does he say? He like says something as he's getting wrapped up. No one knows. It's fine.
No one knows.
No one knows, but he says something, and then you really get to see what he was talking about, because his face fucking puffs the hell up, because all his shit's blowing up in his body, and it's gruesome.
And there's this shot from
terrifying.
inside of the snake.
Yeah,
Snake-o-vision.
This is an inversion of the snake-o-vision. This is it's a very I'm not going to continue. It's a beautiful extended trope of what I described earlier, a cinematic trope that is used in films, and this is when you go inside the beast. You know, you're inside the beast, and they're taking it to a literal place, and I thought it was very beautiful.
It honestly, low-key looked like somebody was maybe inside just a really large vagina too.
It looked like a colonoscopy video.
It looked like a moment that launched 1,000 people's vor kinks.
Right.
Oh, I don't know what that is, and I don't want to know. I don't think.
Don't Google it.
You can explain it to me off air.
Okay.
It's like, I'm interested, but I don't want it on my
interested,
computer.
but
Yeah,
I
she
don't
wants
want
to have her reaction
go
in
down
peace
that
and safety.
rabbit
Yeah.
hole. Oh man. Okay. I mean, is there anything else you would like to bring up about Anaconda before we move on to our segments?
I mean, I do want to give shine to the moment when they explode the wall, the bridge or whatever, and it throws all the snakes on them. Right before that, I do think there's a genuinely good shot where you kind of see them on the boat in the background and you like hear a hissing. And then it's revealed it is not a snake hissing, it is the hiss of the fuse on the dynamite. And I thought that was actually great. That's the one really good moment in this movie, and then the rest is very lovable trash.
I forgot something that's really important. Oh, you go, Sydney.
Oh, I just wanted to give shine about how, you know, the queen snake fought really hard after being exploded and set on fire. She like still
and
came
pickaxed.
back, and then Ice Cube had to pickaxe her.
Bitch.
He pickaxed her in the tail already too. Like,
yeah,
he really was out there doing it. That snake was taking the hits, and you don't get God till you get God.
The thing is, how much money did the burning snake cost? I want to know that because it was awesome.
Right.
Maybe
it was
less
awesome.
though.
It burned for so long and it was screaming and it was screaming. It was like no hissing, very little hissing besides the moment you described, but so much snake screaming. I'll never get over it. That should be one of our quotes, just the snake being like, ah! It won't
horrifying,
be, it won't
honestly.
be,
Yeah.
The most iconic quote of the film. Okay, all right. It's time to get into our segments. How could Anaconda be gayer? My first thought was the snakes are gay.
Obviously, the snakes are gay.
The
Of
snakes
course,
are
the
gay.
snakes are gay.
The snakes are gay.
of course
The snakes are gay. There's no way they're
Mhm.
not gay.
I mean, having Gillian Anderson in any role, some role would have been gay, and she could
Yes.
have been Dr. Kale. Actually, she
Yes.
should have been Dr.
Oh.
Kale, and then she
Yeah.
and J-Lo could kiss. Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Anaconda remake right now.
Remake right
Okay.
now. J-Lo steps right back into that role. So does Ice Cube.
So does Owen Wilson.
Okay, I don't know if
Amazing.
this is like revealing something unchill about me, but I was like not into the actor that played Dr. Kale. And then for a second, I was like, what if he's a woman? And then I was attracted to him. If he himself looking exactly how he looked, but was in my mind, I'm like, he's a woman. I was like, oh my God, now I'm into it. If so Gillian Anderson.
Mhm.
Also, I don't know. I could see Laura Dern being Dr. Kale too. I would.
Oh,
I would
fellow gay
like
icon Laura Dern.
that.
Ooh, and I would
Oh,
respect
yeah.
her authority.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we already know she looks great in khaki.
Exactly.
From
But I
Jurassic
feel
Park.
like, okay, hear me out. Gillian Anderson, Dr. Kale, Laura Dern, Gary. She takes Owen Wilson's role, and she gets to have like a baddie moment where she's like, "I'm just here for the cash, babes."
Wait, I saw this tweet.
All female cast.
All female
Okay, but
cast of
I
Anaconda.
want
Okay, well,
Scarlett
let's do the
Johansson to be
Ghostbusters.
Jon
Jon
Voight.
Voight.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
doing
No.
the accent.
Just more problematic roles. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the Ghostbusterification of Anaconda. I would be very down for that. What was I gonna say besides that? Something. Ice Cube would still be Ice Cube though.
yeah,
It's
Ice
all
Cube can
female
stay.
cast and then Ice Cube still.
And Danny Trejo.
And Danny Trejo.
Yeah,
still.
yeah. They're the
Those-
token men in the production. Everybody else a lady.
I remember what I was gonna say. It has nothing to do with this, so I'm so sorry. And I can't fact check this, and because I can't find the tweet again. But just randomly, I'm very much on horror Twitter. You should have seen my fucking Twitter feed over the weekend when the new TCM came out. My God, there's all
It
I read
influenced
about.
you clearly because
Yeah,
you
I
watched
know.
the other one.
I know, because I'm gearing up to watch the new one because I'd never
Mhm.
seen any of the ones from the last 2 decades. So I figured I should start at the beginning of this iteration. But anyway, I saw a tweet about Anaconda, which I'm so glad. And apparently, sorry if this isn't true, Owen Wilson, but apparently Owen Wilson's character Gary was supposed to be a big hunky hunk, like svelte man. And so he showed up for the role and he took his shirt off and he's a scrawny little motherfucker. And they're like, absolutely not, put it back on. And so they changed
saw
the way
that
his
tweet
character
too.
dressed. Yeah. For the whole rest of the movie. They're like, babes, you were supposed to do a little bit of bodybuilding for this. You did not. And so we're just going to put you in big, giant Hawaiian shirts and that G'day Mate shirt the entire time.
Oh, the
The
G'day Mate
G'day
shirt
Mate
was so
shirt.
funny.
It was very good. Great fashion sense. Great job, Owen Wilson. Okay, I think that brings us perfectly into where would Maddie Lily fit into this film, and he could have been Gary. Love you,
He
Owen.
could have been Gary. I could
could have
see
been
him in some
Mateo.
khakis to be. Oh, Mateo would be good.
Yeah, he'd be great as Mateo.
He could be Dr. Kale. He'd be a really fun in our all female version. He could be Westridge now. And I would love to see him doing a fancy boy voice. You know what I mean?
Fancy boy voice. British.
Fancy boy.
Well, because he's not just British, he's also a fancy boy.
Posh. Yes.
Yeah, he's a fancy boy.
And being like, they have that whole exchange between him and Ice Cube where he's like crisp sheets and hot showers, and Ice Cube says playoffs and a 6-pack, and he goes 18 holes of golf and a quadruple gin and tonic, and he goes LA traffic and my cellular phone, and they just kept going back and forth. I loved that, by the way.
That was very cute. I loved that moment also. But even in the middle of being attacked by a snake, I wouldn't be reminiscent of LA traffic. So
But my
can't
cellular phone,
my cellular phone for sure.
I think I probably would take LA traffic over a big Anaconda. I think I'm probably going to stay where I am instead of moving to the middle of a river in the Amazon that's snake infested.
I would go. There is a point in the movie where
Truly Owen Wilson.
There is a point in the movie where Owen Wilson and where Gary and Denise go into the forest to get night sounds. And I was like writing in my notes, I would never do that. And then the second they're in there, they start making out in the jungle. I was like, I would 100% do that. What am I talking about? I would be the person who gets gored by the boar. 100% I would do that. The other day, I went for a walk with Adam and we went under this bridge and there was like this ivy coming down. And it was like really beautiful, but it parted in the middle in this perfect little creepy opening, like a witch totally lived there. I walked straight into it. I would die first. Oh, it's so hard to admit. Anyway, let's move on before I get upset.
God, wait, but that's vindication for me though, because when we did our Ask Me Anything between seasons, somebody asked me who would die first in a horror movie. And you were very insistent that it would be me because you both do more nature stuff than me. But here you go. The nature is dangerous, Monica.
Yeah, it's true. But okay, I feel like I'm scrappier than you. So I might be able to fight back. But also it was because, and we've talked about this before, there was like 3 different horror scenarios where you were like, I would lay down and die. And I would never choose the lay down and die option. And that's why I said that I would survive longer than you.
The only
my fear of death is too strong.
The only horror movie that I'm dying in is a zombie movie because I just don't want to deal with that.
You said on the What Keeps You Alive episode that you also would not row across the lake and back. So stick to your word.
I have baby arms.
We die together on the lake.
I have baby arms. I would never be able to row. Like I would try and fail. I would just be like, drown.
I would try. At some point you give up. I wouldn't give up immediately. Probably.
I would in a zombie movie. That's it. It depends on the zombies.
Depends on the zombies.
I'll try. Fast zombies.
And in the apocalypse zombies, we're gonna give it our best shot. Train to Busan zombies, literally no way. Literally no way.
Just deuces. I would give it my darndest, but we can only go so far. I could kick. That's all I can do. I can kick things, but that's it.
You know who else can kick? Because I just spotted this in my notes. Jon Voigt in this movie, when Denise is trying to come at him with a knife and he launches from the ground 10 feet into the air so that he can wrap his legs around her throat.
Oh yeah.
That's
Very
incredible,
impressive,
actually.
man.
He's got the hops.
He's got the hops. He's got 40 different accents. That's why his accent changes. It's all part of the character work. And people just didn't understand it.
People
'Cause he's a
didn't get
con
it.
artist. And he's saying he was a pastor and all this shit, but it's all a lie, including his accent. His character is conning them into thinking he's mysterious and European. I don't know what he was even trying to get at. That's part of it. It's just part of his art. And I understand. As a film critic.
Film critic? Should I put film critic in my bio?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
will be killed.
Yeah. No, I say go for it.
Go for it. Go for it.
Tell me I'm
okay.
wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, okay?
So I guess we should say who the dumb bitch is then after this. It's hard because Jon Voigt is good at everything. Like he gives tracheotomies and he came up with that wasp plan. That's pretty smart.
It's
but
pretty
he's a
smart, but he
horrible
didn't
person.
have a snake containment plan. You know what I mean?
True. He's
So,
just
like,
gonna kiss it.
maybe that's all he wanted.
He just
Maybe
wanted
he
to
got what he
death
wanted.
from
He
the
achieved his
snake.
goals in this film. And he winked after it vomed him back out.
He didn't even
So,
talk
like-
about it being vomed back out.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
just bombed
God.
back out, and then one eye blinks. That's a wink to be like,
It
see,
winks.
me and my lady.
It winks at J-Lo. Like that happens. That happens in this movie. A regurgitated Jon Voigt winks at J-Lo.
And he's all
It's a
slimy and gross and looks like
masterpiece.
he's already partially digested.
And he's all bumpy and lumpy. Man, I won't meet this snake because it doesn't exist and they don't get that big, but I'm glad that I don't have the opportunity.
I mean,
Except I
apparently they
will
don't really
be-
eat people. That's
Yeah,
just not really a thing. So
No, that makes me feel better.
It's a relief.
Can we go on a spooky field trip to that San Francisco,
Oh.
California Academy of Sciences
Yes.
museum and see this snake?
really
Please.
didn't know what kind of field trip you were proposing there for a second. Was so
Let's
ready
go
to
to
shoot
the
you down.
Amazon.
Let's go to the snakes. Let's go
Let's
be
go
around
to-
snakes. No.
The snakes. No, I want to see the one that's not real. That's in the museum. So I hope that's
Mhm.
safe enough. Dumb bitch. It's certainly not the snake.
It could be
Gary's
Jon
up-
Voigt.
Could be Jon
Gary's.
Voigt.
Yeah.
Gary's up there. Gary sides against his dying boss and then immediately is killed for it. So he gets his
Gary-
swift justice.
Has that sad face as he looks like he's filled with shame as his girlfriend looks sadly upon him, and yet he does not change his position. So, like, Gary,
Gary, why would you break Denise's heart like this? She loves
he
you.
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't even like you could really root for him as a villain the way that you possibly could it were he played by Laura Dern. It just was a disappointment, Gary. Owen Wilson did not come through.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed, Gary. Poor guy. Okay, I would give it to him because I feel like Jon Voigt is too much fun to be dumb, bitch.
His
Okay.
accent is just too funny, and he doesn't deserve it.
It's so
because the accent
bad.
is so bad.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
good. No, it's amazing. Oh my God, we didn't even talk about, I mean, it's probably because it was the worst thing ever that anyone has ever seen, but when J-Lo goes to do the sexy ploy with him, and I was like, there is no way that this man would ever think that J-Lo would ever love him. Like, how would he ever think that? But then he realizes right away and he's like, haha, but they didn't think about the third man. And that's where it's a beautiful plan. You got Ice Cube,
Mhm.
the distractor, and then you got Westridge with the bonk, with the big bonk in the back.
Incredible. Great plan. Jon
great
Voight
plan.
does seize his moment though, because he
Ugh.
does say something like, it's been so how does he sound? It's been so long since I've had a woman, or something like that.
That was pretty good, but like
thank
I couldn't
you.
tell you if that was the accent he did. I like there's no pinpointing it.
But he has that kiss with her where she's volunteering the kiss, and then he's like, I knew this was a scheme, and then he kisses her again anyway. He's just living his best evil life.
Oh yeah. He's gross. He's gross. That's the grossest part. He's dumb bitch for that, but Gary's the dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time. We have to do our knives out of fives for this one. I'm excited to see where we land because I'm feeling A lot of love.
But yeah, while this is critically acclaimed by us, not so much other critics or audience members in general. Because on IMDb, this movie got 4.8 out of 10, which actually is almost a 5, so not so bad. But then on Rotten Tomatoes, it got 37% rotten from critics. And it got even worse, which is shocking considering how much money it made, but it got even worse from audiences, 24% rotten. As I mentioned, for Razzies, it was nominated for Worst Picture, Worst Actor for Jon Voigt, Worst Screen Couple for Jon Voigt and the Snake, Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, and Worst New Star, The Snake. Also, at the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, it won for Most Annoying Fake Accent and Worst Supporting Actor for Jon Voigt. That said, while it didn't actually win any Razzies, the Golden Raspberry Award founder Jon Wilson wrote a book, The Official Razzie Movie Guide, and he did include Anaconda as one of the 100 most enjoyably bad movies ever made. So he did say, while this movie is terrible and sucks, it's one of the most enjoyable.
You're gonna have a good time.
So
You're gonna
true.
have a blast. It's one of those things, and I can't believe that we haven't really talked about this more in depth, but it's one of those things like Cursed, where maybe it could have been scary, but then the second you get a glimpse of what they're trying to pass off as the monster, you're just like, no, that's
like,
that's a puppet. Like it looks so plastic. And I can't believe that it like haunted me when I was younger, because you look at it for 1 second now and it's so terrible. It's so terrible.
It is trash. Yeah, it is. It looks so dumb, but I also like want to have a figurine of it with its stupid fucking face. Like something about the placement of its eyes.
The eyes are like too close together.
They're way too close together. I mean, I am a snake expert, but I'm no snake expert. So maybe they can be like that, but it doesn't seem real.
It just seems wrong.
And the eyes, apparently they gave them the like, the classic snake eye with the like little mini pupil thing. Yeah, to make it look like it was scary, but in reality, anacondas have puppy dog eyes. They got normals.
Cute.
They're like, oh,
cutie. Little babies.
Imagine it with big dilated pupils looking up at you, going, ah! It was beautiful. I really liked it. I really liked that a lot.
That's my impression of the snake.
The sneaky snake.
The sneaky snake.
You guys have done that a lot less than you promised that you would this episode. And I, for one, am grateful.
A few more times right now. The sneaky
The
snake.
sneaky snake.
The sneaky
All
snake.
I'm a
Point
snake.
Make it up for last time. I get it.
I'm a
what
snake.
are your knives? What are your
on
knives?
yourself.
What are your knives?
I want to base it off of what you guys say.
I'm gonna give this 4 out of 5 knives.
Oh my god. Okay.
It's
Explain.
amazing.
Explain. Explain yourself.
I get it. I get it. There's no words.
No notes.
All right. I guess that stands for itself.
Listen,
Amazing,
the girls who
incredible.
get it, and the girls who don't.
Okay.
I'm dead.
Sure.
I'm fucking dead.
Snake.
For me, like, I was cackling for like the second 3/4 of the movie, because the beginning I wasn't paying attention, so that's on me. It's on me, but I was in rapt attention for the last half, because I was just like, what in the absolute ever-loving hell is going on here? And let me also say that this was the most enjoyable research experience that I've ever had. I was cackling the entire time aloud. I was doing my research in my office, and so people probably thought I was insane. But it was an incredible experience. I loved this movie. There are notes, but there are no notes. I'm not going to give it a full 4, but I am gonna get it a 3.9.
I'm going in a different direction than you guys.
Chelsea's like, I'm
You're
gonna give
giving
this
it a 5.
6.
You're gonna give it a 5.
You know that 6 is reserved exclusively for Scream 3. But I love Anacondas. I think it's great, and I say it lovingly that it deserves 2 out of 5 knives. Like, it's not good. It's not good, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah. Fair. But it's
Sometimes
so
I'm
good.
like, knives are just for fun, but I do usually like to have a little more something behind that. For me, it was that Scream 3 gave me everything that I wanted. Sometimes a movie has like a legitimately good script or plot, or effects. And this one, lots of things were not high quality per se.
What do you
And
mean? There
that's
was
the charm.
$100,000 per second snake in this movie, Chelsea.
Everybody knows that expensive is better, right? I mean, what does Freckle say in that
But here's the thing.
one?
Imagine what a
series.
cheaper snake would have looked like.
What does Freckle say though? Sometimes things that are expensive are worse. I'm just saying sometimes practical effects are better.
They
And
used practical effects, and that's the part that looks so dumb.
maybe they really should have leaned into it and had it on strings and done a full puppet.
They should have hired a 40-foot snake to be in this movie.
They should
and
have.
learn
First
the
of all,
stunts.
Stop
Representation
gatekeeping snake
matters.
actors.
Right.
but I think that I say it lovingly. I can't in good faith give it 4 knives.
That's fine, babe.
You're
That's
wrong,
fine.
but that's fine.
That's fine. You do you. I'm just saying that this movie has Ice Cube in it. And in the movie, Ice Cube says, "Today is a good day," which is a reference to his 1992 hit single. And then he also plays a song on the radio that he wrote. Like, what more could you want? Like, there's beautiful Ice Cube self-referential moments. I don't know.
Listen,
It's
a
all
movie
about
with
Ice Cube for me.
Cube, J-Lo, Owen Wilson, and Jon Voigt, and a large snake.
Give me
It's
our
the all-star
lady
cast.
cast. Give me Laura Dern and Gillian Anderson, and I'll give it 6. I'll give it 6 knives. Okay.
All right, we'll do some
I'll bump
rewrites.
it up
Script.
for 3 for Ice Cube shouting himself out left and right.
Okay, thank you.
Valid.
And for
valid.
all
We'll
the
accept
extra
that.
work that he had to do dubbing over all of his fucks.
Okay.
The man's
3.5.
insane.
Let's just keep going.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You don't need to change it that much, but
I love that
you
we'll
live your
bully
life.
you.
Is that new?
Uh,
I mean, come on.
No.
We're all about being cruel here on Spooky Tuesday.
I'm a bully first and a film critic second, okay?
Amazing.
I'm putting
Well-
it in the record books as 3.5, so I hope you're happy.
Wow, I am thrilled. It feels good. It makes me feel less crazy for giving it a 3.9. So thank you so much.
I don't feel
think
crazy
that-
at all for giving this a 4.
Sydney
No.
feels very justified. Yeah.
I think you're right. All of the facts are there. We've lined
They're
them up.
laid out in
We
front of
said
you.
them. You didn't have to say anything in your review part because you already said it. It's already been
Yeah.
said.
What's that?
Goes without saying. So that's
no.
Anaconda.
My
Uh,
anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hon. Oh,
Someone needed to do it.
boy Troy named boy
You did
Troy
it wrong.
named Troy used to live in Detroit. Big
Oh my God,
dope
is she gonna do the
dealing
whole
money
song?
he was getting right. That's
Oh my!
me.
What if you did the entire song? What if the whole rest of the episode of you is you rapping?
Anaconda by Nicki Minaj.
And we just
Oh
like
my
fade it out. We
God.
don't release next
at her.
episode. Wait, but okay, next week's episode is gonna be fucking fun. So Sydney, this is your baby.
This is my time to shine. I am a thespian, as everybody
I'm
knows.
a thespian first, bully second, film critic third.
No, bully first before anything.
That's true, that's
Let's
true.
be honest.
That's true.
And I had a leading role in this next movie in our 10th grade high school play.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was Little Shop of Horrors. We're doing our first musical on the pod.
Second, we did Anna, but this one is the
That
most.
one doesn't
We
count.
literally
I'm sorry.
just talked about Anna and the Apocalypse.
Nope, doesn't count for me.
This is the OG horror musical though. It's not the. There's been other ones besides this, but this is one of the best, most respected, and it's so fucking fun. I have a lot of things to say about this one though.
Oh yeah.
Actually never seen the movie. I've only seen the play. And I've now seen, and I have a new appreciation for Suddenly Seymour. Because Jenny Slate sings it in I Want You Back. So she gets involved with the middle school production of Little Shop of Horrors. It's actually very funny. That part,
that's
that part's
awesome.
great.
That song is incredible. I had a great time with that one.
Such like, oh my god. Is there a video of you performing? Can
Somewhere.
we
dig it out for social?
Please.
Would have no idea where that is. It would be like, I don't own it because again,
It would have
Contact
been
the
on the
school.
laptop that got
my
struck by
computer
lightning.
died. And
Yeah.
so I would have to contact some high school people that I don't want anything to do
We
with.
don't want that trauma for you, so we won't
No.
put that on you. But
Maybe I'll
just
do a
imagine
reenactment
it.
though.
Oh, wow. Really state your case for being the singer of the pod. This could be your time to
Singer of
take
the
it.
pod.
Chelsea is shook to her core.
Chelsea is shake. The woman was too stunned to speak.
Dead. She's crying. Oh no, she's crying on the pod.
There
Can I
was
have
no
nothing to
crying
myself?
in
Can I
podcasting,
have nothing to
Chelsea.
myself? My score goes challenged. My role as singer of the pod goes challenged. It's like, what's next? I couldn't even say my name right today. Like, what does Chelsea get? What's for Chelsea?
You got to watch Anaconda. That's a gift.
You also got to watch Anaconda. What's just for me?
You didn't need to change your score. You should not submit to peer
God.
pressure, baby.
And now I'm getting bullied for getting bullied. Wow.
We're just gonna quietly move on. But yeah, okay, this next episode is gonna be really fun. There will be singing. So if you don't like that, well, listen anyway. Fucking get over
Yeah,
it.
there's gonna be so much singing.
Why not sound off? Let us know who you think is the greatest singer of the pod in a written 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, or keep us guessing and just give us 5 stars on Spotify. You can't write anything there, but we'd appreciate it either way. And why not follow us on social media while you're at it? We're at spooky_Tuesday on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. And we're also Spooky Tuesday Pod on Facebook and Tumblr. And we're also Spooky Tuesday on Letterboxd. And we're also on YouTube.
We're everywhere. You cannot escape us.
We're everywhere. Get on YouTube, watch our one video. Please subscribe. I never thought I'd be that like and subscribe bitch, but here we are. Like and subscribe in the link below. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening.
Bye, spooky.
In the words of the Anaconda.
Is it just me, or does the jungle make you really, really horny?
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Haidt, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamra Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Captain Tamra, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram at the_moon_OMG.